know if you saw the latest news item this morning. China put the United States for sale on eBay. They pulled out the U.S. government component to try to enhance the value a little bit. Anyway, what I want to give you this morning, I want to give you both my view of where I think we are, where I think we're going as a U.S. economy, and also a consensus view of forecasting economies. I'm part of 4 national forecasting panels. You've heard of the Blue Chip forecast. It is a monthly survey of 50 national economists, of which I'm one. USA Today surveys about 40 economists every quarter. The Associated Press surveys about 30. I'm part of those groups. And then a forecasting group within the National Association for Business Economics. So we're talking about economic growth. Before you do that, you have to talk about the Great Recession. The good news, the U.S. economy has been in recovery now for 33 months. Next week, we conclude 11 consecutive quarters of positive U.S. economic growth. When we talk about a recovery that started technically in June of 2009, you have to tell an audience that somewhere around the country, around the world, and they'll say, no, what are you smoking? What are you drinking your own bathwater? We don't feel this. But in terms of a recovery, we have to say it started statistically, if not emotionally. We have had 11 consecutive quarters of growth. That's the good news. The bad news, current U.S. economic expansion is the weakest U.S. economic expansion since the 1940s. The consensus says growth is likely to continue at this fairly modest pace. The headwinds we face in terms of still soft housing markets, the fact that 1 out of every 4 homeowners in this country is underwater on their mortgage, still high unemployment, which we'll talk about, and our anxiety, our fear, our concern about the government, about the fact, the growth, direction of the federal government. $1 trillion deficits for as far as the eye can see. Those headwinds limit our growth rate to something less we like to see. Yes, we're growing, but the pace of growth is not what we would like to see. The Dodd-Frank financial legislation. 2,350 pages of new financial regulation still being interpreted. The realities in Washington say for every new page of legislation, somebody has to write 10 pages to explain what that 1 page means. The money center banks have the staffing to try to interpret all this information. The regional banks, the community banks, the credit unions don't. And so you're finding in many cases the lending process has become slower, much more paper intensive, because the smaller lending institutions are scared to death they don't miss something. But it is one more example of, quote, we're from the federal government and we're here to help you. From the church's own selfish perspective is make sure the area around Temple Square is viable and safe and lively and active. Not the easiest place in the world to get a drink at City Creek, but you go across the street or you go to one of the 2 places. Not the easiest place to shop on Sunday. And Gateway's made that very clear. We're open. Charlie Square, we're open. So it is a magnificent project. It really is. And it is very much a testament. It is a testament. It is the church's investment in strengthening the area of their headquarters more than anything else. You look out Salt Palace and there it says Nordstrom. That is a powerful, powerful name around the country. Powerful name. We're lucky to have that facility. And we will benefit greatly. If we've benefited from the jobs, we will benefit from the jobs going forward. But it is a powerful testament to this community. In terms of Park City real estate, the Park Record newspaper called me yesterday and I did an interview with them in South Carolina. And it was about the idea of real estate. Their median price is going up. Their sales are going up. And I wondered why. And I said, well, you know, Summit County, Wasatch County real estate, Deer Valley real estate, tied to what's going on nationwide, tied to what's going on in Utah, but also tied to what's going on in the stock market. Deer Valley real estate goes up and down with stocks and the value of stock options. Dow at a 4-year high, 13,000 plus, S&P 500 4-year high, NASDAQ 4-year high. We've regained $4 trillion in stock market worth in the last 12 months. Park City real estate, you know, higher end stuff in Heber City, and the Deer Valley, it is tied to, yeah, a good market, but it's tied just as much to stocks. When the market does well and real estate up there does well. We know that financial institutions have brought properties, foreclosed properties, onto the market across the country in a big way. We know they're also holding some back. And the shadow inventory is estimated between 2 and 4 million homes around the country. So we know that that has potential to limit price gains in certain markets. Not so much here, but in Phoenix and in Tucson and Vegas and San Diego and Naples and Orlando and Miami, where these markets just got absolutely out of control. I'll tell you, this may surprise you, but we talk about this in our new quarterly piece coming out for Zion. The biggest buyers of residential real estate in Phoenix are Canadians. The biggest buyers of real estate in Miami and southern Florida are Latinos and Brazilians and Argentines who see these enormous values. So there are, yes, we've got issues to work through. One reason the foreclosure process slowed down is the courts kept saying different things in different markets. The lenders weren't, the banks and the non-banks lenders, well, we just got told this, but this state said this. We have no idea what's going on. So we still need some clarity there. Wouldn't it be nice if we would keep in mind, despite the problems and the challenges that we face in this country, it remains the greatest country in the world.